Hey, this is Jackson with Big Sky Mountain Products, and today I'm going to show you how to trim your Rambler and Persistent Splitboard skins to fit your board. Follow along with these easy steps, and you'll be ready to get out riding in no time. With your skins, you'll receive a number of important materials. First is your trim instructions, and then inside of your accessory bag, you'll have 4 rivets for assembling your tip, 2 tip connectors, 1 nail or hole punch for punching your rivet holes, and an optional trim blade. Here are some highly recommended tools that I like to use from home when assembling my skins. A marker, a ruler or a flat edge, a cutting board or any surface that you don't mind cutting into, a hammer if you plan on using rivets to assemble your tip, scissors, and tape. Preferably, you'll have a pair of vices that you can use to elevate your ski off of your surface while you're cutting your skins. If you don't have vices, anything that will prop your ski up works. First, you'll want to identify which skin fits with which side of your split board. If you look at the tail of your skins, there are 2 tapers, one shorter one and one longer one. You want the longer taper facing the carving edge of your board and the shorter taper facing the split edge of your board. Similarly, if you look at your tail clip, one corner has 2 hooks, while one side has a single hook. You'll want the 2 hooks going over the tail of your board and the single hook going over your split edge. From here, adjust the tail clip to your liking, but you'll want it somewhere within the middle of your tail strap. Now we'll begin your tip assembly. Start by cutting your template out from the rest of your instructions. Now, clip your tail to the tail of your board and run the skin over the length of your board so the top of the skin is hanging over your tip. Identify about 1 to 1.5 inches below the tip of your board and mark it with your marker. This will be your fold over line as designated on your template. Now, just like the tail of your board, the tip of your board will taper varying based on the carving edge or the split edge. For one side, you'll need to flip your template over so that the cover of the template is showing rather than the template itself. Remove the skin from your board and place it onto a flat surface. Take your template and set it onto your skin so that the tapered side is facing what will eventually be the carving edge of your board. Align your template so that the fold line marked on the split edge of your board is touching your previous mark that you made with your marker. Even if you're using the cover of the template, you should be able to see the fold over line through the paper. Your marker and optionally your flat edge, and trace your template onto your skin. It's easiest to run your marker with the grain of your skin plush in order for it to show up best. From here, optionally, you can trace a line from your previous fold line mark to this corner here where the fold will be meeting up with the other edge of the skin. Now it's time to use either your scissors or your razor blade and cut surface to shape the tip of your skin. I like to use my flat edge for this purpose as well. Just line it right up with the lines that you already traced and cut along your flat edge. Be sure not to cut past this corner here where your taper meets your eventual tip fold over. When you cut this line laterally across the top of your fold over, you can feel free to cut off the entire tip of your skin. You can now pull your release paper back and fold it back on itself a few inches below this corner. Take your tip clip and slip your fold over through it so that the flat edge of the clip is sitting against your glue and this corner of the clip is facing your surface. Now every split board tip shape is different, so you may have to adjust the angle that your tip clip is sitting at to sit properly on your board. I like to fold mine over and then check the fit on the tip of the board before I set the fold over permanently. To check that your tip is assembled at the proper angle, lay your skin on the board by first attaching your tip clip over the corner of your tip. Stretch out your tail strap and clip it onto your tail. You may have to adjust your tail strap to be sure that the tension is just right. You don't want the tension too strong or the tail clip will pull the skin away from the natural camber of your board. Now inspect the tip of your board. As long as your tip clip is sitting on your board without one edge or the other hanging off, and you're able to attach your tail clip with the current orientation of the tip, you should be good to go. If you need to adjust the orientation of your tip clip, simply pull your fold over apart, which can be a little difficult, and angle your tip clip for the necessary adjustment. Fold over does not need to be flush with the edge of the skin like I have it, and can angle into the middle of the skin. Once you're confident that your tip orientation is correct, you'll mark your rivet holes with your marker. Come down to about halfway down the fold over and about 1/3 in from each edge and mark your holes. Now take your nail and your hammer and set your holes. I'll just hang the holes over air and punch straight through. This is a cutting board that I don't mind punching into, so I'm simply just going to hammer into the cutting board. And poke it through one rivet hole. Take a female end of a rivet and press it together with the male side that you've already punched through the hole. Do this for both rivets. From here, you'll need a hard surface to hammer on so that your rivets will be properly set. A strong cutting board or even the concrete floor of your garage will work just fine for this. Now that you've assembled the tip of your skin, it's time to trim for width. Attach your tip clip to the tip of your board. Pull the skin over your board and peel away the release paper for your glue. Pull your skin over your board so that you have skin material hanging off of both edges and attach your tail clip. Take your blade and trim the excess skin material off of one edge of the board and then the other. It's helpful to cut with the grain of your skin to make as clean of a cut as possible. Now the skin should be covering the majority of your edge material over the length of your board without hanging over the side of the edge. However, we're going to want to trim more skin material away to expose your edges so that you can dig into ice and hard snow while you're skinning uphill. In order to expose your edges, remove your skin from the board. Lay your skin back over your board so that your carving edge is exposed, as well as about 1/8 of an inch or one more edge's width of base material is exposed. Reattach your tail clip. Trim off the excess material hanging over the split edge of your board. When you're cutting off such a small amount of material, it can be helpful to grab the material and pull it away from the board while you cut. Remove your skin from the board and then lay the skin back onto the board so that both edges are exposed. Inspect the skin on the board to make sure that you're happy with your edge exposure as well as the orientation of the skin. Adjust your cut accordingly. You should now have both edges of your board exposed with minimal base material showing between the skin and the edge of the board. Once you're happy with your edge exposure and the orientation of your skin, optionally, you can elongate the tapers at the tip and tail of your skin in order to cut down excess material. This will not only decrease weight as well as bulk, but it will make your skins easier to pull apart as you'll have less glue-to-glue surfaces sticking together while you store your skins. To taper your skins, start by removing the skin from the board. Start by tapering your tail. Stick your skins together, off-centered, such that 1 foot or more of your tail glue is exposed. Stick your skins together, off-centered, such that 1 foot or more of your tail glue is exposed. Take a piece of your release paper and lay it over this exposed glue to protect it while you trim your taper. Lay the skin onto a flat surface with the plush facing up. Take your flat edge and just lay it over the carving edge of your board and mark an increased taper. You're only going to taper the carving edge of your board and not the split edge. When you cut your taper, be careful not to cut into your tail strap. Take either your blade and your cutting board or your scissors and cut along your new taper line. You can now follow essentially the same steps to taper the tip of your skin. Stick the skin together glue to glue such that the top foot or more of your skin glue is exposed. Stick your skin together glue to glue, off-centered, such that the top 12 inches or more of your skin glue is exposed. You can now follow essentially the same steps to taper the tip of your skin. Take a piece of release paper and stick it to your exposed glue to protect the glue while it's face down on a flat surface. Take your straight edge as well as your Sharpie and mark a new, longer taper. Now take either your scissors or your cutting board and your blade and cut along your new taper line. Again, when using a blade, I like to reuse my straight edge to keep a steady hand. Lay your skin on your board one last time to be sure that you're happy with your job. You can see now that I have both edges exposed throughout the length of the board, and I have very little to no base material showing throughout the middle of the board. All of your grip comes from underfoot to just behind your foot, so getting rid of this excess material will not be a problem for grip. But again, you do not need to taper your tip or your tail if you don't want to take these steps. Now repeat these steps for your second skin and the second half of your board, and you'll be ready to get out into the mountains and have some fun. Enjoy the skins. Way to go. You did it.